I'd like to call to order the West Bend Community Memorial Library Board meeting for Tuesday, April 16th. May we stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which is the library board meeting from March 19th and the March expenditures?
Motion to approve.
May I have a second?
A second.
Okay, Joseph. Any discussion on the minutes or the expenditures? Okay, we will move on. Financial reports. Joseph.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Oh,
we gotta call it.
Oh, jeez. I guess I'm hurrying.
She's trying to go too fast.
Yeah, I'm not trying. Just...
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Oh.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now we can move on to the financial reports.
Yes.
Joseph.
So there wasn't a whole lot of activity. There were 3 checks that were written out of the programming account for programs. And then there were several checks that were deposited. I don't have the details split out of who they were from.
Oh. Steve?
Checks for children's, I don't either.
Okay,
But I do have I have the register, so it was all deposited.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can look that up.
Yeah, we'll have to dig
And
it.
send them their thank yous, yes.
Yes.
Oh, wait, no, I got it, I do have it here.
Okay.
$250 for Cornerstone Dental, $100 for Gentle Dental, $200 from Lynch, and $500 from Rachel Hills.
From what was the last one?
Rachel Hills, $500.
Oh, very nice.
So I don't know if we need to copy that or not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
As long as we have it.
We do have it.
Yeah.
Okay. But Brett needs that because Brett usually.
Okay, so those are donations to the library?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for programming.
Okay, can you just repeat those again, please?
Sure. Rachel Hills was 500.
Lynch was 2.
Lynch was 200. Gentle Dental was 100. And Cornerstone Dental was 250.
That's very nice.
And thank yous have been sent.
And could you have Lori type those, not these, but in the future?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll talk to her.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no.
She just wrote checks from various, and it was like,
A group I printed for, I have always fully copied the donations to
Yeah.
file.
And there's going to be more next month.
As reading program starts, there'll be a lot.
Yep.
Okay, anything else, Joseph?
Nope, that was it.
All right.
Did we have to move any money over for the programming?
We did not. Well, we moved an initial like $100 that was required to open the account. And then since then, it's all been donations.
Okay.
It's working out fine, I think.
Should I talk about this one? Or-
You're welcome to talk about that one. Sure, no, go ahead.
This is, I just wanted to point out that this is our undesignated fund balances that is left over, and the total number at the far right lower corner is what we have in undesignated fund balances, so that's what we have for things like unexpected expenses, or what we'll talk about today. If our camera system is not fit into our current budget, we try to fit it in our current budget right now, but if we can't, we'll use these funds to cover that cost. And that would be funds from last year's budget that were left over. So it's a lot of report for something that is really just that we have that fund, those funds left over from last year. And it was designated 2 separate accounts in the past, but you can see that it's just the total amount is what we use.
And we normally move those funds into our fund balance, but I think because my recommendation, and the board can talk about it, is that we leave it with Steve this year for things like the camera
Yes.
and things like
The
that.
masonry work.
Yes.
Yeah, things that we're starting to come into some of the problems and stuff. The only one though is, do we have to move the outreach, or do you see a need for that? Because we do outreach to 126?
Yeah, we don't have to move anything
Okay.
with that. That was just, it was allocated to outreach, and that was what's left over, so we can use those funds however we choose to use them. It doesn't have to be specifically for outreach.
But keep in mind, if outreach needs something, they'll get a preferential treatment.
They will. They also have a pretty good war chest. It may come to be that we should just buy the vehicle that we leased.
I know you.
It's created some problems already. I mean, we got a good lease and everything, but GM's been difficult to work with. That.
Are we still
that might-
on the lease now?
We are leasing that vehicle right now.
Okay, and was that a multi-year lease?
It's a
or-
3-year lease.
So it was
that
a
would
new
be-
one we signed, right? But we have a clause we could get out of it if.
Well, I'm
buy
working with them to solve the problems, and if the solution is just to buy it out, and I'll make that recommendation unless they can make it work without that. If they can change the things on the lease that they need to change, then we can. move on.
Okay, just keep us updated on that, that's good. One of the other things that I was happy about, I don't know if everybody got the information on how much interest we're finally getting. We got almost $20,000 interest in the first quarter because of the new interest. I mean, it's a hardship on people with interest rates, but boy, it sure, that can buy an awful lot of books for us. So I wanted to mention that. Any other questions for Joseph? Steve, any questions, anything for Steve? Otherwise, we will move on to the library director's report.
I did send out an update of the camera quote. If you didn't get it, let me know and I will run through it. New phones were installed, so we're having some learning opportunities with the new phones. But they seem to be working. We have 2 Eagle Scout projects in progress now. We've got some raised garden beds that are being built, and then some youth projects, including a new top for a train table and some other neat things for the youth department. Friends had their book sale last week. They did pretty well. Our newspaper's digitization is finished, and we sent back the hard drive to the company, so we have backed up the microfilm on 2 hard drives, 2 copies of the microfilm, and it is active in the library. It's great. Last weekend I went to All Around the Bend. That was my Saturday, I guess. What else to say about that? This Thursday, I'll be at Leadership West Bend for most of the afternoon, and Champions of Change for the evening. And then Patrons Park, things that have come up, the ground is very squishy. I've talked to Mike Inch, and I think I talked to you about it in the past, but the solution is probably to tile it sometime in August. So
Where is it real squishy?
pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
Just got all those spots.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, don't know why it is that way, but tiling should solve the problem to get some green tile in there, and Scott's will be able to do that. In August, they're going to send me a quote for that, so that might be the rest of our Patrons Park money.
Yeah, that'll be expensive.
Do we have to do anything with this camera quote?
Later on, when it comes
In the
up on
agenda, it comes down.
Oh, okay.
It'll come up again. So,
Update, did you want to update just about, tell the full board about the blinds?
oh yeah, the blinds on the south side have been in the adult reading area replaced, and they look great. Everyone's been saying wonderful things about them.
Very nice, yes, very nice. And how's the pin tucking and the restoration going?
They have not started yet.
Okay,
So we'll,
next month.
yeah, I guess when there's good weather again, we'll probably dig in.
Okay. Okay. Any questions for Steve at this time? No? Okay, moving on. Library Board President's Report. I only have one thing to say. We have a celebrity in our midst, just so everyone knows. Dr. Lester Wright, not formerly, Jay, who we call him by, has written a book, and this is his book. And he has made it was presented at the Public Library Association's National Conference for Combined Book Exhibits. It was one of 300 books, and this was in Columbus, Ohio, and it was on the top shelf. So this is Jay's book. Thanks, Jay. We have a celebrity. You'll have to get a couple to the library, so we can.
Yeah, I've got a couple here.
Okay. Good. Congratulations, Jay.
Thanks much.
Okay. All right, that's it for me. Next month, just so you know, it's the start of the new session, so we will have elections of officers. So if anybody's interested, keep that in mind. All right. Next, moving on to number 6, agenda item for consideration, cameras.
Yep, so our camera system for a couple of years has not been operational really, so it's time to update it, and I think we got a pretty good price back from the one that I shared tonight. Another adjustment to bring down a couple $1,000s. And with that, we expanded the storage, so the price is down quite a bit from what their list price is. So we're getting a great value out of that. So.
And this is in conjunction with the city putting in cameras, correct?
The city is planning on, at this time, planning on using the same company to put in cameras, so they'll be familiar with our camera system, so we won't have to do all the hunting and pecking if we need something for them, and we can provide access.
Where will all the cameras be placed? Or is that secret so the public doesn't know?
No, they'll be visible pretty much where they were, and then a couple other areas to cover inside. The big one that you see up in the front is one of the when you first walk in, that's one of the placements, and that camera will just be turned on, or they'll be replacing it with one that's got more storage, I think, actually. And I do have a plan that I can send out to everybody of what they're looking at doing, but the outside and the inside will both be done.
Okay.
We plan to have the outside cameras go directly to the dispatch for monitoring, and then we'll talk about the inside cameras at some point if we want to provide that to dispatch as well, or if we want to keep that private.
Cameras are, you wouldn't think you'd need them in a library or anywhere, but I don't know how many of you were on the board about 4 or 5 years ago, was that, Brad? Where we had two young adults come in with super glue, and they super glued bathroom fixtures, they super glued books, and those cameras caught them, and they were charged.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think you need cameras in a library. The interesting part is the young adults had done this in at least two other locations, and we were the only ones that charged them. Walmart was one of the places, and they felt it wasn't necessary. We did, and
Especially if they keep doing it.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep doing it.
so the cameras are a necessary evil. I'll just say that.
It's a deterrent as well. People see them.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions for Steve regarding the cameras? Is this going to be another one of Brad's functions to sit there? We'll come into Brad's office and got on the camera.
So add security director to your list.
They're up with the raise.
I'm certainly delegating appropriately.
So, any other questions?
No.
If not, we need a motion to approve. Now, you said it changed. I didn't get the latest one. The one that I had was the first one. It was $51,079.
This is the latest one?
49.
So, thank you.
That belongs to Joseph.
Okay. I'll give it right back. I just didn't get that. So you're looking for 50,000. Why don't we just round it up to 50,000?
Sure.
I'd like to ask for a motion to approve expending $50,000 for cameras for the library, so. From
Undesignated fund balance?
that was that undesignated
Yeah,
fund
that we talked about earlier.
that we talked about earlier for purchasing of rescue dog technology. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Barb?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Is the 50,000 discount because the city is also getting cameras? Is it like,
Well, I was told that we're gonna get the best deal out of anybody at the library.
Big, I guess.
I'm just wondering if there's like a mass amount of the city
Yeah.
buying cameras, if we could use that to save.
Yeah, well, we actually going from a 30-day recording to a 120-day recording was a huge upgrade for us. So when you look at the pricing difference, and then they actually lowered the price, we're doing all right. And I was told that nobody else in the city is going to get this kind of deal.
And then after that,
No, that might not be true, but
after that 120 days, though, does it go to a different storage then?
no, nothing that's 120 days
That's right.
old that we haven't pulled the evidence for is anything we're going to be concerned about.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, we have a motion and a second to purchase the cameras. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next, wow, this was a quick meeting.
Outstanding.
We're looking for those pictures on the website.
The next meeting is May 21st, and as I said, that's the one for the election of officers, and we'll do that and probably go over the fund balance a little bit more in depth from the city. So we'll see you then. Assigned tasks? I don't think there are any. Wow. Good one. We are adjourned.
Come out of here.
I hope.